Hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
They won't give me a permit for the parties anymore. They're trying to shut it all down. But we're not stopping. We'll keep celebrating. We'll keep uniting people from every background. You'll hear about my parties. They'll try to shut them down. Maybe they'll even arrest me. Before we begin, please note this video contains sensitive material. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This is based on actual federal courtroom testimony from Day 5 of the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, reported by Inner City Press. Day 5 was different. It wasn't what happened inside the courtroom that shocked people. It was what hit the internet right before court started. Justin Bieber, once mentored by Diddy during his early fame, finally spoke out. What he posted didn't just support Cassie's claims. It confirmed years of rumors, troubling footage, and strange interviews buried by the industry. Diddy saw it first on his phone, then on reporters' screens. The moment he realized what Bieber had done, he lost control. Security had to step in. The courtroom went quiet. What happened next wasn't just a breakdown. It marked the beginning of the collapse. Back in 2009, Justin Bieber was just 15 years old. He had barely left Ontario and had just signed with Scooter Braun and Usher. His debut song, One Time, was already on the charts. He became an overnight sensation. The perfect image, clean, polite, adored by millions. But behind the spotlight, powerful men guided his rise. One of them was Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy didn't just meet Bieber. He took him under his wing, brought him to events, and called himself a mentor. In a now infamous clip, Diddy joked that he had Bieber for 48 hours. People laughed at the time, but that joke planted a seed of unease. Videos from that era show a young Bieber standing beside Diddy, often looking unsure. Diddy would speak for him, make inappropriate comments, and lead him into situations that felt too mature. In one clip, Bieber tries to joke about girls. Diddy responds, "My man." Back then, it felt playful. Now it feels disturbing. Diddy wasn't just a celebrity. He was one of the most powerful men in music. Being associated with him gave Bieber access, influence, and protection. But it also made him vulnerable. Diddy's world was full of temptation, blurred lines, and unchecked authority. In interviews, Bieber praised Diddy, calling him a source of inspiration. What people didn't see were the private talks, the unrecorded moments, and the lifestyle Diddy exposed him to. On the surface, it looked like mentorship. Behind the scenes, it was control. As Bieber's fame grew, so did his exposure to the adult world of Hollywood. He was barely a teenager, yet he was surrounded by adults with power. Diddy made sure Bieber got into exclusive events, places meant for grown-ups. The imbalance wasn't just about age, it was about access. Diddy could open any door. Bieber had to smile and stay quiet. Some people around Bieber later said he felt overwhelmed. Diddy's influence helped his career, but it also exposed him to dangers: fame, substance abuse, manipulation, all before he turned 18. Soon, the pressure started to show. Bieber was arrested. He fought with paparazzi. He broke down in public. At the time, people blamed him. Now, it makes more sense. Imagine being 15, treated like a man, given alcohol at a Diddy party. That's not normal. It's dangerous. Nobody ever accused Diddy of harming Bieber directly, but the spaces he placed him in were not safe for a child. That's a different kind of harm, one that lingers. Then came the silence. Even as other artists started talking about toxic power dynamics, Bieber said nothing. He didn't name Diddy, not until Day 5. That day, the silence broke. The internet dug into old footage. One clip resurfaced of a young Bieber and Diddy laughing together. Back then, it seemed harmless. Now, it feels chilling. In the video, Diddy says, "I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me." He pats Bieber's back. Bieber smiles awkwardly. People laughed when it first aired. Today, that laughter feels wrong. The video spread everywhere: TikTok, Reddit, Twitter. Some noted how uncomfortable Bieber looked. Others were stunned no one had questioned the clip sooner. Context changes everything. In light of current allegations, the video felt like a warning that had been ignored. Sources close to Bieber said the video hit him hard. It brought back memories he had pushed away. He started asking himself if his instincts back then had been right. If he had been too young and scared to speak, he decided to post. Not just for Cassie, but for himself. For the boy he used to be. And when Bieber finally shared his truth, the world, and Diddy, was watching. By his mid-20s, Justin Bieber had already lived a full life. Fame, collapse, redemption. He was no longer a teenage sensation. He was a grown man, still piecing together how his past had shaped him. Between 2014 and 2016, things spiraled. He was charged with vandalism. He got into fights with photographers. His concerts were canceled. In later interviews, Bieber admitted that fame had nearly destroyed him. "I would have been dead by now if I kept going," he told Zane Lowe. He looked calm, but his eyes said more. His turning point came in 2018, when he married model Hailey Baldwin. That wasn't just a marriage, it was a transformation. Through Hailey and his Christian faith, Bieber started healing. He quit drugs. He went to therapy. He began speaking about how the industry had used him. He never said Diddy's name, but the meaning was clear. "People told me they cared, but turned their backs fast," he once said. He described being surrounded by adults who saw him as a paycheck, not a person. He cut ties with old friends. No more clubs, no more late nights. His music changed. Songs like Lonely and Ghost carried pain. Fans could feel it. He was reclaiming his story. Still, some connections lingered. In 2023, he worked with Diddy again on the Love album. It looked like a reunion, mentor and student. But insiders say Bieber regretted it immediately. Sources close to him say he had no idea how serious the accusations against Diddy were when he agreed. When the lawsuits began and police raids followed, Bieber went silent. "He shut down," said someone close. He was angry. He didn't know what to believe. That made what happened on day 5 even more powerful. For years, Bieber had stayed quiet. But that morning, just minutes before court, he spoke. At 8:12 a.m., Bieber posted a photo of himself and Cassie from an old event. The caption was short but sharp. "Cassie, I see you. I remember what I saw, and I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner." Within minutes, the internet exploded. News outlets picked it up. Fans reacted. Some stars stayed quiet. Others showed support. Inside the courtroom, the effect was immediate. Diddy, who had walked in calm, kept checking Instagram. One of his lawyers took his phone away, but he had already seen it, and it shattered him. In the post, Bieber said more. He described Diddy grabbing Cassie too roughly at a party in 2015. He remembered how Diddy would cut Cassie off in interviews, answer for her, and control who she talked to. Bieber wrote that he always felt uneasy, but was too young and scared to say anything. "There were moments I thought, is this normal?" he wrote. "But I was just a kid too. I thought that's how it worked." Then he ended with a heartbreaking line. If I had spoken up sooner, maybe she wouldn't have felt so alone. Inside the courtroom, chaos erupted. A court assistant printed the post and handed it to the prosecution. The judge hadn't even entered yet. Jurors looked shaken. One asked for water. Reporters rushed to call their editors. Lawyers whispered. Eyes widened. Bieber's message had done what no cross-examination could. It introduced a powerful voice from within Diddy's circle, now speaking out. Security moved closer to Diddy. One guard stood behind him. The energy in the courtroom shifted. Everyone could feel it. Diddy sat still, gripping the table. He looked shaken. His lawyer tried to redirect him. Nothing worked. He had seen the post, and something inside him cracked. His breathing grew heavier. He loosened his tie, ran a hand through his hair. Then, without warning, he slammed his hand on the table. A water glass tipped over and shattered. The judge struck her gavel. "Mr. Combs, control yourself," she warned. But Diddy stood up. "This is all lies," he shouted, pointing at Cassie. "You know that's not how it happened." He turned toward the screen. "And him," he yelled, "after everything I did for him." Security moved in. His lawyer tried to calm him. Diddy pushed him away. A guard unclipped something from his belt. The judge rose. "Remove the jury," she ordered. Cassie stayed still. The jury left the room. Diddy kept shouting, "You're making this up. Loyalty means nothing now." Then came the moment that stunned everyone. "I'll make sure he never works in this town again. Neither of them will." He meant Justin Bieber. And he said it, loudly, in open court. His lawyer buried his head in his hands. The prosecutor stared in disbelief. The judge gave him the coldest warning yet. "Mr. Combs, you do not control this courtroom. One more outburst, and I will have you removed and held in contempt." Security didn't leave his side again. One guard behind him, one by the door. Diddy said nothing else, but he didn't have to. The mask he had worn for decades had cracked, and the jury saw it. When things calmed down, Cassie returned to the stand. Calm, steady, as if none of the chaos had happened. But what she said next was even more damaging. She confirmed Bieber's account. "I'm not surprised by what Justin posted," she said. Everyone leaned in. She explained how Diddy used to bring Bieber to events. He was like a younger brother to the industry. Diddy liked showing him off. When asked if Bieber saw anything, Cassie said yes. He saw more than he understood at the time. She revealed that Diddy had a list of men she couldn't speak to unless he was around. Bieber was on that list. "Don't smile too long. Don't talk unless I'm there," he would say. And if I did, there were consequences. Then the prosecution shared text messages between Cassie and Bieber from 2017. They were short but haunting. Cassie: "I don't know what to do. He sees everything." Bieber: "That's not okay. You need help." The jurors were visibly shaken. One woman wiped her eyes. The messages showed Cassie had confided in Bieber years ago. This wasn't new. This wasn't fake. It was real. When asked why she never shared the texts sooner, Cassie replied, "Because he told me no one would believe me. And I believed him." She described one party. She was laughing with Justin near the food. Diddy saw them. He pulled her aside. "Even Justin knows what happens to people who cross me," he whispered. That line froze the courtroom. Cassie looked straight ahead. "That was the first time I feared for Justin. And for myself." The prosecution stopped there. No more evidence, just silence. That silence said everything. By the end of day 5, the trial had changed. It wasn't just Cassie versus Diddy anymore. It was bigger. Every news outlet covered it. TMZ, CNN, Variety, Rolling Stone. Bieber's post validated Cassie's claims. The 2017 texts shattered Diddy's defense. The threat against Bieber went viral, but it didn't end there. The music industry reacted. Bieber's phone kept buzzing. Some thanked him, others warned him. "You just opened the floodgates," one message said. More people reached out to Cassie's lawyers, former assistants, dancers, interns. Some offered to testify. Others sent written statements. The common themes were fear, silence, and now, confirmation. Other celebrities began speaking. Usher's 2022 interview, where he said he wouldn't let his kids near Diddy, resurfaced. People started connecting dots. On social media, fans questioned artists who had worked with Diddy. Some celebrities issued public statements. Others turned off their comments. The pressure was building. Bieber had broken the unspoken rule: don't speak, don't name names. Cassie's lawyers later confirmed that other artists had quietly spoken with prosecutors. Some had recordings. Most were scared, and the prosecution wasn't done. At the end of the day, they introduced something new: a video. They asked the judge to allow it. She agreed. The room darkened. The video was just 40 seconds long. Security footage from a Los Angeles hotel in 2018. Cassie stood talking to a male artist. Diddy entered. He didn't yell. He walked up, grabbed her waist, and whispered something. Her smile faded. She nodded. He led her away. It matched her testimony. It echoed Bieber's post. When the lights came back on, Diddy stared at the floor. As court ended, reporters ran outside, and the fallout began. Brands cut ties. Streaming services reviewed Diddy's work. Business deals fell apart. More voices came forward. Justin Bieber didn't feel like a hero. According to one friend, he did this because he couldn't stay quiet anymore. He had survived his own pain. Now, he had used his voice for someone else. For Cassie, it meant everything. Someone believed her. Someone the world admired had seen the truth. And for Diddy, it was the beginning of the end. What happens next remains unknown. But after day 5, one thing is clear. The silence that protected the powerful for years has finally been broken.